us. Are we recording now? Yeah. All right. I can post this later. I appreciate those of you that are here. Welcome. Welcome to SOC 100. It's a summer class and it's going to move fast. My name is Jason Downing. I love the Chicago Bulls. I love Star Wars. I have a 4-acre farm, and now you know everything you need to know about me. We grow a ton of food out here as much as we can. Sometimes we do weddings or other events like that. I split my time teaching between 3 different colleges. In the summertime, it's all online so that I can be outside and at the farm as much as possible. So growing food is the big deal for us, and so is food sovereignty in general. So we're going to be doing the big paper this semester. This summer is going to be a big food paper that examines our agricultural systems, how we grow food, how we waste food, and then it's going to pick a really cool topic out. But let me see if I can do screen share here from my laptop, and let me see. Oh, and that's what I need to do. There we go. Is this gonna let me share? So I guess I'll do, oh wait, that's not even it, is it? Chrome tab, there we go. All right. On the volume now.
I think you muted yourself.
Let me go into screen share one more time. I get a Chrome tab going on. This is the one I want to share. As soon as you start sharing, it mutes you. All right, can you hear my voice and see the screen yet for the Colorado State? All right, awesome, everybody. Sorry, this is coming up a little bit different here on my new laptop than it was before. All right, so here it is. We move fast. So all the dates are going to be laid out for you if you click on the syllabus over here. And I'm not in student view, but it gives you an idea. So the first thing coming up is our social observation. That's where I'm asking you to go out someplace and observe people. Really what we're trying to do this semester is cultivate our skills as sociologists. So right now, I'm assuming a lot of people like to people watch. But we're going to kind of cultivate the skills that make people watching more than just that, right? Like now we're going to have the tools we need to understand human behavior. That's really what we're trying to do here. And we're not just trying to understand human behavior so that we're like, oh, the teenage pregnancy rate is this. Usually sociologists are doing that so that then we can make some kind of change, collect data, make something better than it was before for society. But the first thing I just want you to do that's due Tuesday is go out in a public place, observe people for 20 minutes or a half an hour, and write down that experience. There is no minimum or maximum for this post. Just put some thoughtfulness into it. Then you'll see next Friday is our first chapter content assignment. Chapter content assignments, there's explanations about them, but they are basically essays that you are going to be writing. So all chapter content assignments, stop that share for a minute. All chapter content assignments must have in-text citations. Okay, so in every single question, you'll be referencing the textbook. Can you reference something else if it matters? Absolutely, but I need every single question to make that textbook connection to our textbook. It is required. I've been doing this for like 15 years. I love Sage. Their rep is easy to get a hold of. If you have any problems, Trisha's going to reach out just like that. They bundle it so that it's cheaper for us. And I like the content of the book. It's a great starting place. I've been teaching here at CSU for 15 years, which just flew by incredibly fast. But I love sociology. I love sociology. I want to talk about the war on drugs. I want to talk about gender. I want to talk about race. And I think that sometimes because sociology is so heavy in this, people mistake it for being something that's uber liberal or something like that. I don't have any political sort of agenda with this class. I want us to learn how to see things through multiple different lenses. So a symbolic interactionist lens up close, people in their friend groups, the big picture, constructionist or conflict, which is like inequality. So anytime we look at inequality, anytime we look at our society and start breaking down these numbers, we're talking about race or we're talking about gender, I just want to remind everybody that this is about responsibility and not guilt. Okay, so this isn't a calculus class where you're not going to be talking about anything like intense. Pretty much everything we do in sociology is fairly intense. So understand that, and understand that it's our job to be able to look at something like the Supreme Court thing this last week and say, here it is through 3 different lenses and maybe even more. And so instead of just having one perspective or my perspective or your perspective, I'm asking that we diversify our perspective. And that's called cultural pluralism. So the most important thing you can learn in this class is the term cultural pluralism and the notion that we want to judge other ideas and cultures by a multitude of standards, not just our own, right? Because I'm pretty locked into all sorts of things at 48, ideas that I have. And then somebody, usually a student or somebody younger, is yeah, but have you considered this? And I'm like, wow, okay, let me look at that. And then all of a sudden, I changed my mind. And I think because we're so politicized these days, people are like, oh, you're flip-flopping. No, when you change your mind because you learn something new, that's called learning. Right? So that's what I want us to do. And I want you to do is be open-minded learners this semester and realize that Soc is a class, where again, we talk about some pretty intense topics. And I have my other Soc 220, which is environmental sociology. Right off the bat, I'm like, hey, everybody, if this is a belief for you, don't take this class because it's science, right? And we're going to talk about social science. Yeah, we can measure things quantitatively as a social science, right? And we can measure things qualitatively. So numbers, how many people get divorced? And then love. How do you describe or measure love? To me, it's awesome that sociologists and the study of sociology can look at things that are data and also how do we feel about our world? How do we understand our world? So that's what we're going to be doing. Content assignments, pretty straightforward. They're essays in essay format. And I say about a half a page. I mean that per question-ish. You can't answer a good essay question in 2 sentences, right? And then we have 2 big essay exams. And those exams will be worth 25 points apiece instead of 10. So the essays will need to be even stronger, but they're the same essays. So you keep up weekly and you do a good job on those, and then you can use those for the exam. See, I'm not into regurgitation, cramming information and puking it out. That's not really education, right? Education is taking a concept, learning about it, discussing it, processing it, doing it correctly, right? Your essays, then getting to the test, examining it, doing it correctly, again, adding to those essays. That's retention. Yeah, I own a farm and yeah, I grow organic food, but I'm not some hippie. I am interested in data. I'm interested in great learning, great essays, and cultivating your writing. If you get out of college and you can't express yourself in a written way, that's going to be trouble for you. So we're also going to work on our writing because I think that's super important for how you interact with the world. And really, we're all interacting with the world to try and get what we want out of it. Sociology is going to help us understand those dynamics. So I think sociology is like Jedi training. You understand where different subcultures of people are coming from, how they think, what they believe. That enables you to negotiate that, to broaden your opinions, and then to understand how to communicate people. Like I said, generally speaking, to get what you want, to have things turn out positive for you in this life or positive for other people if you're trying to make changes or help with other people, right? I mean, if we're talking about Flint, Michigan and the water problem, those people are working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, unemployed. You're busy with your life. Like you don't have time. I don't have time, even if it happened to me here, to be like a water activist. So we rely on sociologists to provide a voice for less fortunate people sometimes. So there's a lot that you can do with sociology. Okay, the discussions. The social observation has to be posted by Tuesday, but there's 2 dates for every discussion. The reason that there's a post date, so you have to post 1 week before the discussion closes at least once. Because if I didn't have that, everybody posts 3 posts on the last day. And it's not a discussion, it's regurgitation, and I'm not into that, right? So like you post once, at least a week in advance. You can go now more than a week in advance, watch the video associated with it, read the chapter, write a post, and then you have to reply to other people at least 2 other times. So to get 20 points for each discussion, 1 detailed post on your own a week ahead of the due date, at least 2 others, and not multiple posts on any given day. Like, yes, if you're going to do like 10 posts, but not like 3 posts all on the same day. Again, that's like, you need to revisit the discussion, come back to it, look at what people are writing, and then process it. So usually online discussions, if we don't have some type of ahead of time post, everybody posts on the last day, it's like kind of worthless, right? So the first one is chicken people. It's bizarre. It's not just because I own a phone. It's because it's a great look into a subculture that most people had no idea even exists. I have 100 chickens on my farm. I'm not a chicken person. So this documentary, Chicken People, is really awesome. And I want to present things to you that are new, interesting, exciting, that get you thinking in different ways about the world around you. Okay. So the discussions are going to do that. Now, I think in July, the Food Matters paper is due. That's looking at ingredients of conventional foods, organic foods. It's looking at conventional farming, organic farming, local farming. And then the third part you pick. So there's some collecting of ingredients, some technical, like how do we do agriculture? And then the third part could be anything. You pick a cultural part, could be like the Impossible Burger, the notion of meat substitutes, could be people that bulk up for weightlifting as a subculture and the foods that they eat or how they do weight gain or weight loss. Could be like a sports focus, right? Could be so many different things, CSAs in your community. You don't need to worry about this now. Don't worry about anything, really. That's not going to help your education. But what I really do want you to know is that there is a big paper in this class. It's worth 150 points. And if you wait till the last minute, it will be the thing that crushes your grade. And I don't want it to be that way. But I see people that I warn on day 1 in the classroom or online and say, take a look at this. Take a look at this class. Is it a good fit for you? Just because you have 3 credits that you need to take care of doesn't mean this class is necessarily a good fit for you. You're making an economic decision. You're making a school decision. So look through the requirements for the class. Look through the pace. Look through the concepts presented and how I present this class and make a good decision for you education-wise. Again, I'm just telling you on day 1 because summer sessions move fast. Even if we have like almost 3 months, that's 25% less than we normally do. Which leads me to the other thing. I have a little paragraph in announcements, go to announcements for everything, that says the college game, a few words on winning. Guess I got to put quotes around everything. It's basically how to keep your integrity level high, okay? Reach out to me. There's no such thing as a grade bump. Assignments have due dates. And I think that's the biggest one right there, that I don't want to be a hard ass about it, but COVID made all of the due dates everywhere, right? Like, I want to be compassionate. You got tested, you're quarantined, who knows what we're doing, this, that, right, and the other. The semester starts and ends, and I'm going to need people to be able to meet these deadlines. So I think, it's like up to a few days late or something like that. Look at my policy, but it can't be something like I get behind, I reach out to you a month from now, can I just, do this class? Like, I think maybe if that has been the case over the last couple of years, it's done you a bit of a disservice. I want to be compassionate with my grading and kind and thoughtful, but life has deadlines. You show up to your job late X number of times, You don't have no job no more. You work 10 hours instead of 20. Some people do that project and they do 2 pages instead of 4. We're already starting with half the points. You see, I'm not trying to be a hard ass, but to get 20 hours worth of pay, you got to work 20 hours. To do a full assignment or to get full points, some of that is just, did you complete the basics of the assignment? And that's kind of, again, it mirrors life. And I want this class to be a realistic thing for us in ways, because we are talking about some pretty important things. All right. So the paper's not due for a while. We do an extra credit food drive. We won an award last year because my students raised in one semester $9,000 over 18,000 meals, and they did $8,000 the other semester, 16,000 meals. Here's the deal. I could have you write another paper for extra credit, and if you don't have a minimum of $5 donation, you can write a paper about homelessness and poverty. Otherwise, we donate to the Larimer County Food Bank. We provide real meals for people who have real food insecurity, and you do something outside this classroom. I think it's really important, and feeding people is my jam. So if we can, I think Larimer County is, for children, the 3rd most food insecure county in Colorado. With this much money and this much wealth and this much access, and right? Like, so that shouldn't be the case. So that's like 25 points. That is huge for people. Do not overlook the extra credit, opportunity, because I think it can really help your grade. My mom used to be like, people shouldn't have to pay for extra credit? I'm like, they should want to feed people. Yeah. We should want to do a lot for the world, but we don't always just do it, right? I don't always just wake up and say, I'm going to feed somebody today and blah, 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 blah. Like, I woke up this morning and was like, my house is flooding. So like, I want you to engage, make our community stronger, and at least it's there for extra points if you want. The book has all sorts of access. Remember, you're going to need, to write with in-text citations, or I don't grade any of that, but just check out the assignments. Poke around a little bit on the site. The more time you spend here, and like, I don't check that, but if somebody halfway through the semester is like, I'm not doing the greatest, can I, da-da-da-da-da, and I look and the person's like analytics spent 0 time on the site. I mean, all right, like, spend some time on this class. It is related directly to your grade. The more time you spend checking things out, working on stuff, and coming back to like check a discussion or see if I've made any announcements, the better you will do. All right. I want to open this up. I know I'm kind of like cruising through this because everybody's busy, and I will post this to my YouTube channel and then put the link in announcements. You don't have to go to the YouTube channel. There's some interesting stuff there. I do have lectures that are PowerPoint slides, but then from a while back, I also do have some lectures that I pieced together. So I'm not going to technically, we're never going to meet formally. If I might do a meeting though for the food paper specifically, or for the first content thing, just to like, touch base and make this feel real to everybody out there. That being said, you're busy this summer. I'm busy this summer. And yeah, which reminds me, if you have any plants out, if you planted plants early, which maybe my students don't always, but it's going to get cold. Anything that's in the ground is going to get stunted or die, because we're looking at a really cold weekend, like 30 some degrees, 28 degrees, snow, rain. So cover your plants up or bring them inside. But I want you to have a great semester. So any questions from anybody about anything? For me, the class, the pace of it, my expectations. Is that Mario on your arm? Right on. Very cool. All right, so any questions that anybody has about this process or for me?
Yeah, so with the discussion posts, you have to like post something and then post a reply. So like post your like original post a week ahead of the due date.
Yeah, so if it's due on the 8th, you got to post your first reply by the 1st.
Gotcha.
7 days ahead of time at least. You watch the movie. And a lot of these are your opinions. Like when you're writing your content assignments too, include a little bit of your insight, personal insight. Again, this isn't calculus or something that doesn't matter. Your experiences matter. My students' experiences matter because you've all done different things than I have, right? And so like as we're talking about this, maybe you relate to something in our chapter on deviance. Oh yeah, da-da-da-da-da-da, like I dyed my hair, or I got a tattoo and couldn't show my parents because they thought it was deviant, or whatever that might be. So yes, and then you reply to at least 2 other people. So you do your own detailed thing, and then you're looking around and seeing what other people think. Like, that's a great idea, but what about this, right? And we keep it respectful, and that's usually not a problem. People sometimes, because these are interesting, like chicken people, most of them really, where you're like, you will be replying many more times. So, and it doesn't take that long. But I got to tell you, and that's a good question, James, the place where people lose the most points over the course of the class is that, because they don't consistently visit the class, see that thing, do the week ahead of deadline, and then all posts are done on the last day. But I'm saying you can respond multiple times in a day, but I need to see at least 3 posts on at least 3 different days, you know, because otherwise it is ding, 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 3 posts on the last day inevitably. And if there's 3 posts and it's worth 20 points, you're going to get about 7 points per post. So you get 7 points is all. If you're doing everything on the same day, everything on the last day, or everything late. So does that make sense? And I have both those dates. So if it says due date 14th, then it will also say first post by that date. So, you know, make sure you watch it by then and you get engaged, and then we can get that off the ground like a week ahead of time. Anyway, in my classes live, we discuss everything. It's reciprocal. Life isn't me barfing intellectual knowledge at you and you like telling me what you think I want to hear in a paper. Life is like, this is, oh, well, this happened to me. Oh, really? Because this is the way that it is in the structure. Yeah, wow, and I experienced this. All of those things are going to be important as we're processing SOC. All right, other questions? Any other questions you have about me, the farm, the class, my expectations? Go ahead.
For the textbook, it's an online textbook, right? And is it in Canvas already, or do we have to buy it from somewhere else?
Yep, it should be on the side. Let me see over here. Where is it? Manage e-resources, I think is what it is. As I'm looking here, it's a little bit different. Yeah, man, it should be under, is that where it is, everybody? Manage e-resources? Yeah. And now it's inclusive, so if you don't want it, you can opt out, and then you don't get charged. And maybe you found a used 5th edition. I think it's important to have the same edition, actually, because they have a decent amount of changes, which sometimes they don't. And if it's not, then I would tell you. But they do have, you know, the online thing, or you could get a used copy. So it doesn't matter to me how you do it. Yeah. Jason, yeah, right on. Peace, thank you. It's some kid stuff. I got 2 teenagers. I get that. My one son just dyed his hair red last night with Kool-Aid before the last couple of days of school. So, hey, go for it. And thank you for being at the meeting. Okay. Any other questions whatsoever?
Yes.
Awesome. Hey.
So we have an in-ground plot, 6x9. We know about the freeze. Do you have any recommendations for covering? We've got like peas, very young corn, lettuce, yeah, just turnips, radishes.
I mean, the things that you listed are fairly cold tolerant. Peppers will get stunted in this kind of freeze. This isn't like a frost. This is for real, you know. And so I would say, yeah, cover what you can cover. Some of that stuff, like you just said, is frost tolerant or cold tolerant, but we're kind of on another level, you know. So if you have plastic, a couple layers, you probably don't want to go to the extreme of like getting a tent and putting a heater underneath. A couple years ago when our garden was finishing, remember, like, and it snowed 10 inches here in September. Yeah. I mean, I got tents and tarps and a generator, like, you know, this shouldn't be that bad. But, you know, if you've got a little warm air blower or portable heater of any kind, you know, that you could like kind of cover the stuff up with the heater blowing across the lines of it. You know, I mean, but at least covering it a couple layers. Anything you can bring in. And but you're not working, it doesn't sound like, with too crazy of a thing. You could even put sticks or stakes up, put the thing over it so that you have a space, and then put a little heater at the door of it. Since it's fairly contained, right? It's not like a giant garden thing.
No,
so anyway,
no, for sure.
We are at our farm is called Ravensdale Farm. We're on Facebook. I don't know if it has an Insta because I'm just too busy. But we do starter plants, you know, hundreds and hundreds of organic and heirloom starter plants. So we have a ton of stuff now, and we sold a ton last weekend. And I know people are anxious to get them in the ground. So if you lose anything and you need plants or eggs, let us know.
We started from seed.
Yeah, we do the same. We do the same thing, and sometimes it works out. You know, it's growing food is hard, and people are impatient. But some processes take time, and that's kind of one of the reasons I like farming. Right now, I planted 20 trees, 20, and like they're all 15 foot tall. And so watching them kind of unfurl has been awesome. And I think they'll be able to handle this cold or whatever. So anyway, hey everybody, any other questions about the class? I am here. I'm available. I get back quickly through email. Peace. My motto is be good people and do good things. I'll post this online. All right. Take care, everybody. I'm happy to have y'all in class.